You ask your child to put their shoes on. Nothing. You ask again. Still nothing. So you say it louder and louder until you're standing in the hallway yelling at a 5-year-old about footwear, wondering how your morning turned into this. Here's what I want you to know before we go any further. Your child is not ignoring you on purpose, and raising your voice is not making your instructions clearer. In most cases, it's doing the exact opposite. I'm Dr. Sarah, and today I'm walking you through the real reason kids don't listen, and a 5-step reset you can start using today. No yelling, no threats, no power struggles. Just a calmer, clearer way to be heard the first time. Before we dive into the steps, let's clarify something crucial about a child's brain. A young child's brain isn't designed for multitasking like ours. When they're engaged in play, building, drawing, or watching something, their attention is completely focused. This isn't defiance. It's a deep level of concentration. This depth of focus is a wonderful trait. It evolves into skills like concentration, creativity, and persistence as they grow. The challenge arises when we try to communicate with a child who is fully absorbed. Often, our words hit a closed door. This isn't because the child intentionally shut it, but because we didn't knock first. Now, let's explore how to effectively knock. Step 1 is what I call the walkie-talkie problem. Imagine you're talking to someone on a walkie-talkie, but they haven't pressed their button yet. You can talk all you want. Nothing gets through. That's exactly what happens when we give instructions from across the room while our child is deep in play. We say, "Time to clean up" from the kitchen while they're stacking blocks in the living room. To us, that's a clear instruction. To them, it's background noise, no different than the TV or the dishwasher humming in the background. Here's the fix. Before you say anything, close the distance. Walk over to where your child is. Get down to their eye level. Physically lower than them is even better because it removes the feeling of being talked down to. Place a gentle hand on their shoulder or their knee. And then, here's the part most of us skip. Wait. Wait for them to look up at you. That moment of eye contact is like pressing the button on the walkie-talkie. It tells you their attention has switched channels from play to you. Only once you have that connection do you give your instruction. This single change, closing the gap and waiting for eye contact, can dramatically reduce how many times you have to repeat yourself in a day. Step 2 is about something I call the mental inbox. Think of your child's mind like an inbox that can only hold 2 or 3 messages before it starts deleting things to make room. Now think about how we actually talk to kids. Okay, put your shoes on, grab your backpack, don't forget your water bottle, and meet me at the door. To us, that's one sentence. To a 4-year-old's inbox, that's 4 separate emails arriving at once. And what happens when an inbox gets overloaded? Things get lost, usually all of them. So instead of sending 4 emails, send 1. Put your shoes on. Wait. Once that's done, now grab your backpack. 1 instruction, 1 task, 1 piece of information at a time. And make each instruction concrete, not abstract. Be careful doesn't tell a child's brain what to actually do with their body. Walk slowly next to me does. Clean your room is overwhelming and vague. Put the books on the shelf is something a brain can act on immediately. This isn't about talking down to your child or being less of an authority. It's the opposite. The fewer, clearer words you use, the more your authority actually lands. Step 3 might be the hardest one because it requires you to do something that feels completely unnatural in the moment. Nothing. After you give an instruction, there's a gap, a few seconds, where your child's brain is taking the words you said and translating them into action. Hearing the words and acting on the words are 2 different brain processes, and there's a delay between them. For a young child, that delay can be anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds. But here's what usually happens in real life. We give the instruction. 2 seconds pass. Nothing visible happens. So we say it again, a little sharper this time. And right in that moment, while their brain was still working on the first instruction, we interrupt it with a second one. It's like restarting a download right before it finishes. Now it has to start over. So instead, after you give the instruction, try this. Stay quiet. Count slowly to 10 in your head. Resist the urge to repeat, rephrase, or add, "Did you hear me?" Just give the gap the room it needs. You'll often notice movement begin somewhere around the 6 or 7 second mark. Not because your child suddenly decided to behave, but because their brain finally caught up to your words. Step 4 is about what happens after your child actually does listen. Because this is where most of us, myself included, drop the ball. We say, "Good job," or "Nice work," and move on. And honestly, those words are so generic that they barely register. A child hears "good job" about 30 times a day, attached to everything, from drawing a picture to existing quietly for 5 minutes. It doesn't tell their brain anything specific. What actually shapes behavior is naming the exact thing that happened. Instead of "good job," try "you put your shoes on right when I asked." That made it so much easier for both of us this morning. What you're doing here is drawing a straight line in your child's mind between a specific action and a specific positive outcome. You're not just praising the child as a person, you're spotlighting the behavior you want to see again. Over time, children start to notice which behaviors get this kind of warm, specific attention, and they begin reaching for those behaviors more often. Not because they're afraid of what happens if they don't, but because they've learned what listening actually feels like, and they want more of that feeling. And finally, step 5, the one that ties everything together, following through calmly every single time. Here's the honest truth. If you do everything else right, connect, simplify, wait, and praise, but you skip this last step, your child will eventually learn that the first request, and maybe even the second and third, don't actually mean anything. So what does following through calmly actually look like? Let's say you've connected, given one clear instruction, and waited your 10 seconds, and still nothing happens. You don't raise your voice. You don't add more words. You simply repeat the instruction, smaller and calmer than before. And if needed, you help your child take the first step physically. You might gently guide their hand to pick up the toy, or kneel down next to them and start the first motion together. And the moment they engage, even just a little, you acknowledge it immediately. There you go, you're doing it. What this teaches your child is something incredibly reassuring. This request was real, and you were there to help me follow through on it, calmly, without anger. That combination, a request that matters and a parent who stays calm, is what builds real, lasting cooperation. So, let's bring this all together. Connect before you instruct. Give one clear, concrete instruction at a time. Give your child's brain the seconds it needs to catch up. Notice and name the moments they get it right, and follow through calmly every time, so they know your words mean something. None of this is about being a pushover, and none of it requires raising your voice. In fact, the calmer you become, the more your words will carry weight. Because calm is rare, and rare things get attention. If this approach was helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss next week's video, where we'll talk about what to do when your child says no to absolutely everything. I'm Dr. Sarah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.